Hey guys, I'm here at ICAST 2025 with Jason Woods with FluxJet, and I asked him to walk us through the first ever electric jet kayak. And so let's start with the motor. We're all pretty excited about it. Jason, what do we got here? What makes this different than anything else on the market?
Super excited to finally be able to show people what's behind the curtain here. This is basically 10 years worth of R&D all coming together, and we're gonna launch it right now in the kayak, and we're super excited to show you. People are gonna associate this with a jet ski, but it's actually nothing like a jet ski. So what we have here is our weedless intake system on the outside. So a lot of design time went into making sure that this thing will filter off any junk and debris in the water. And then once you pull the grate off, you see the magic piece. This is the FluxJet drive. So it is a fully integrated electric jet drive system. So basically what we've done is, this is essentially, the best analogy I can give you is a hub motor for an e-bike. This is the hub motor jet drive. So what we've done is actually wrap the motor around the outside of our impeller. There's only one moving part, so you can see the motor's wrapped right around the impeller. It makes it super quiet, makes it ridiculously efficient, super easy to build, super easy to service, and then this guy just drops straight into a pocket on the bottom of the boat, and it's all protected inside the kayak. The cool thing is our wires pass through this little scupper plug into the boat, and then our steering shaft comes into your nozzle there to steer the boat, and it's all just drop in. So this thing is totally serviceable. 4 screws, bolt that thing in, you're good to go.
So if there is an issue, you don't have to you just pull this out and send it to you guys.
That is it.
That's
yeah.
it.
I mean, and really, it's only 4 bolts and you can disassemble this whole thing.
Right.
We use ceramic bearings in it. This thing is designed to run basically indefinitely, and I only do saltwater stuff personally, so this thing is designed to live underwater.
Yeah. This one's 3D printed, so if you guys are getting it, but you guys are getting the
oh yeah. So this is the demonstrator just to be able to show you what it is, but this actually, even 3D printed, this drive can actually handle up to 5 kilowatts.
All right.
Self-contained. So that guy drops back in, throw our ride intake back on, and then our cover plate, drop that guy on, you're ready to go.
Like it.
So if you want to see what that looks like in the boat, you can see back here that same cover plate. Now it's flipped around the other way, steering nozzle, and the drive's just sitting up there in the pocket. So then up top, we've got your traditional turntable that would normally steer your rudder, is now controlling our nozzle. So we don't need to have any skeg or any rudder hanging off the back of the boat. So everything's flush and clean, nothing to hit when you go into shallows. If you're running rivers, it's just easy to be able to get in anywhere you want to get to. This thing is amazing in the weeds. It's so crazy. You get in super shallow, and it doesn't even disturb the plants as you go by.
Will it code out if it gets too much stuff in there, or just stuff does not really get in it?
Yeah, stuff really doesn't get in it. I did take it into a floating bank of reeds just to try to pack it up. I drove out of the bank of reeds and did a 3-second reverse kick, and it just ejects everything, and away you go. Yeah, so there was nothing happier than watching that big chunk of stuff just, I mean, after worst case scenario, kick it in reverse and watching it all just float away as I drive off. It's pretty great.
All right, what other features do we have of the kayak outside the motor?
All right, there's a bunch of cool hidden stuff. So you'll see we got our throttle integrated on the side here. You got forward, reverse, that's all built in flush. I didn't want anything to catch, anything to snag on. You'll see we've got our battery hidden here under the seat.
Yeah, move the award out of the way.
Yeah, sorry, I gotta move my awards out of the way real quick. So real simple, we got it up to group 31 battery. This thing can run anywhere between 12 and 60 volts. So you can drop any battery you have in there, and what it'll do is it will scale power based on what voltage you feed it. So if you drop a 12 volt trolling motor battery in here, you're basically gonna get trolling motor speed. It's gonna be 3 miles an hour, something like that. Once you get to 36 volts or higher, you're gonna get that 5, 6, 7 miles an hour out of it, depending on how much weight you've got in the boat. You've got a power switch on the front and our breaker. That's the main off. You can shut the whole boat off. So up here we got our control panel with our power meter, and this meter is programmable to any different battery type you might be using. And then down below we've got our switches to control our deck lighting, our navigation lights, and then we've got our 5 volt out for our GoPro charge, phone charger, all that type of thing. One of the cool things that we did on this boat that people don't realize is we've actually integrated voltage regulators into the boat that will also give you 10 amps at 12 volts to power all your accessories. So I'm right now running a 38 volt battery in here that's also powering all our Garmins and all that stuff. So you don't have to have separate batteries. It filters all the line noise for you. So basically we wanted to make this thing where you just plug in, you don't have to do any wiring, it's just ready to go. And then as we start to move forward, what you'll see up here is our foot steering. So you want to have your hands free while you're out there fishing. So basically you set your throttle speed where you want, how fast you want to go, and then you're just using your feet to steer while you can fish hands free. And then as you come forward, this one has all the Garmin's and all the stuff on it. So we've got our cover that comes included with the boat is this cover, which gives you some hard storage space up in the front, but you can also pull all this off and just open the whole boat up if you just want to have the maximum deck space. Gives you the options there. Tons of track throughout the whole boat. We've got 4 rod holders integrated, 2 forward, 2 rear. Tracks throughout the entire boat and a little track down in the bottom. We just wanted to give you the ability to have some 3-dimensional, you know, if you want to run straps, compression straps, that type of thing, gives you another point to pick to down in the bottom of the boat.
All right, so I see the riggability. In your opinion, how does this paddle?
It paddles great, actually. It's close to any other, you know, large fishing boat that's 11 feet, 35 inches wide.
Yep.
It's very close to any of those. The nice thing is we have no drag, so we're not pulling any extra stuff through the water. So essentially, it's just another kayak until you turn the motor on.
So give me your thought process in the stability with the chines underneath. What do we got?
Yeah, so hull-wise, we kind of went the other direction. I mean, we started with an 11-foot boat, which is pretty weird in the industry to start with, because 10.6 just wasn't enough, and 12 was too big to be able to really manage on the roof. So we ended up at 11 feet and a ton of float volume.
Yep.
You'll see the really tall sidewalls on this thing gives it massive primary stability, and then the secondary stability really comes from having this battery recessed all the way down into the deck. So our CG is super low, our center of gravity super low in this boat. So instead of having a super heavy kayak for stability, we made the boat light and then use the battery weight as our ballast down low to keep it stable.
Okay.
But this boat is designed to get into rough water, so that's one of the things where we really departed from what everyone else is doing. It's definitely not a bass boat. This thing's got more in common with a Coast Guard cutter than it does with a bass boat. So up in the front, we just wanted a lot of volume for running rivers, for getting out in the ocean, that type of stuff. I wanted this thing to be able to climb up waves rather than punching into wave faces. And it's actually a semi-planing hull. So you'll see in some of our videos, this thing, by the time it hits 3 miles an hour, is already starting to plane out. So the efficiency that we're getting by combining the hull with the drive as one complete package is just, it's phenomenal. Like, as we're collecting data, it's getting very exciting right now. We're starting to see at the higher speeds. I think as batteries get better, because that's really the limiting factor right now, is the batteries that are available. And there's some new really exciting stuff like the solid state batteries that we're starting to see that are doubling capacity. Right now on the market is a 3,400 watt hour Group 31 battery.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's like 3 regular lithium batteries in that one box. So
give me runtime, full power.
The higher voltage you go, the more efficient it is. This thing is basically going to give you take anything that's on the market right now, it's going to be 20% better than that across the board generally. So it just depends. I mean, really when you start to get to that high speed is really where we're going to win, because we start to gain efficiency in this hull as you start to get to those higher speeds. So it just really depends, but you're definitely going to get, you know, you're going to come back after a full day of fishing with 3/4 of a charge type of situation. So we're targeting multiple days without recharging is our goal on this thing. So
weight capacity, what's it rated for? And how do you determine your rating? Because that's not really standardized across the industry.
Yeah, and the kayak industry is kind of weird because they have like usable weight and it's all kind of murky. You can put 400 pounds in the boat. So if I can make it simple, the boat as it sits right now will work just fine with 400 pounds in it. It probably could hold more than that, but at this point, 400 pounds I would say is a good working limit.
Jake, as you were filming us, I was looking at this thing. This is doing 360s.
Yeah, that's one of the amazing things about having the vectored thrust. We can literally sit just in one place and just spin 360 circles without moving. And here you'll see, this is cruising about 3 miles an hour right now, and you'll see that jet pocket starting to dry out as this thing is already starting to push on plane. And that's running, you know, 20% power or something. But if you look at the wake real close coming off that boat, it's super clean. That's the things I obsess over, is just watching the ripples come off the hull and looking how, because every bit of water you disturb is energy loss. So we're trying to make that thing slip through the water like a tuna.
There's a turning radius I'm talking about right there.
So I can spin right on point. Like, it's so amazing when you get in the boulders and stuff, and just being able to sit right on station and just spin right around on place.
That's very rad.
There's a little shot underwater, us cruising over boulders and stuff.
I just want to go to that place. That looks freaking rad.
It is pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty fun. Yeah, that's in the American River of Northern California.
So last question I have for Jason. When can people get their hands on this?
We're going to start rolling these out to just start getting feedback in the next month or so, and then the main roll will be Q1 26.
Q1 2026. Oh man. So hopefully I'll be able to get out to Sacramento, try this out for myself.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we got to make it happen.
All right, I lied. One more question. How much does it cost?
That's the one everybody wants to know. And we really, with the FluxJet technology, can bring this thing at a value we think that's really going to blow people's minds. This boat is going to come out fully rigged, fully wired, with the drive, ready to run, $2,900 bucks.
29. What do you guys think? Throw it in the comments below. Thanks for watching.